Welcome, and thank you for joining me today for the overview of construction payroll, multi-state payroll, and different products to help with that multi-state payroll. My name is Garrett, and I'm with both Foundation Software and Payroll for Construction. I'll go over a brief rundown of what our products offer, what they're about. We're going to walk through some live scenarios, talk about the complexities of multi-state payroll. This is being recorded. We do send out the recording through a link to anybody who registered for the webinar. A couple things up front. Please feel free to chime in with questions. I'll do my best to address those during the overview, and maybe a few minutes at the end, I'll answer some remaining questions. If there's any need for like a live one-on-one, totally normal. We're not pushy or anything. We're happy to do live demonstrations for companies on our products, of course, right, to make it a little bit more catered to your questions and needs. So the two main products that we're going to talk about, two sister companies, Foundation Software and Payroll for Construction. And I'll do my absolute best to describe both. Foundation Software is a full construction accounting solution. Everything from accounts payable, receivables, general ledger, payroll, right? It's a full-scale ERP construction accounting solution that handles construction payroll and multi-state payroll extremely well, along with many other things. Payroll for Construction, our sister company, same ownership, same support staff, is a payroll service geared towards contractors. So think of paychecks, ADP, but our specialty is, while still paying employees, handling your company's taxes, quarterly returns, W-2s. We also do an exceptional job at multi-state payroll, certified payroll, union payroll, fringe management, all of those complex areas for construction payroll. Companies can use our products independently. Somebody can use Foundation Software and just do their own payroll in-house. A company can use Payroll for Construction as their payroll service and maybe still use QuickBooks, right? Now, thousands of our clients use both Foundation Software and our payroll service. They use our full ERP and simply have us handle their taxes and paying their employees, but they can be used independently. So here's the typical needs with multi-state payroll, right? And you're all well aware of these things, right? Right in itself, and not to pick on like a QuickBooks, right, is a very typical off-the-shelf system, but both Foundation Software and Payroll for Construction can handle multiple states and local taxes, right, on one payroll run. I don't have to do multiple checks, if a person's working in two states or something like that. And it's very simple, which I'll walk through in the system, how to accomplish this. These are the issues, right? Handling multiple state taxes, local taxes, multiple rates, right? As people bounce around between different states and jobs, maybe there's different rates that need to be applied. Fringes, per diem, maybe we're going to automate some per diem when people are out of town. Workers' comp by state, managing state unemployment. And a typical need too, right? I guess typically if it's multi-state or otherwise, collecting hours from the field, time card data from the field. Payroll reporting needs, right? A lot of clients in our niche need certified payroll. Some of our clients need union reporting, workers' compensation by state and class. We do extremely well, whether somebody's multi-state or otherwise. We handle workers' comp very well, which I'll get into the specifics on that. Tracking general liability insurance, state, local, federal tax reporting, W-2s, etc. So I think the best way to tackle this, obviously, just walking you through the solutions we offer. And again, this is kind of a recap on what I started with, products to help with the multi-state payroll. Foundation Software gets a full true construction accounting solution. A lot of our clients come off QuickBooks, they outgrow it. A lot of small to mid-sized contractors, right? They use us for their full system. Payroll for Construction, again, think of ADP or paychecks, but specific to the construction niche because of the fact that we accommodated all of these unique things very well. Again, certified payroll, fringes, union payroll. And again, they can be used independently or completely together. Foundation Mobile is applicable to either product, our full construction accounting solution, Foundation Software, as well as our payroll service. It's the same, how to say same thing, but Payroll for construction is powered by Foundation. So it's using our ERP's payroll module to accommodate all of these specific needs for construction payroll. The mobile application works with both. As I said, we're gonna just essentially just jump right in. I'm gonna bounce between the products here. So let's first start off with, now what we're looking at, this is full Foundation, okay? And again, it's gonna do, say a replacement for QuickBooks for a lot of companies. It's handling general ledger, APAR. But for our topic today, we're gonna talk about payroll, right? Now, multi-state payroll, when we set up a project in Foundation, we create a job. And I'm just gonna pull up a job record to point out a couple quick things. Or make one. Let's do that. Let's call this, Foundation job. It's alphanumeric for projects. We're gonna, who's the customer on this job. Some people do utilize these other fields. You don't have to, but if somebody's using our full solution, they may want to note who the project manager is on the job, maybe what location. If for people that want to get data back out, when they run their job costing reports, they can see job costing by job, by customer, project manager, location, job type. These are samples. Right here is the important one for multi-state payroll. Payroll tax group. Now, some areas just have state tax, right? Florida, for example, it can just be Florida. I'm in Ohio, so we have local taxes, right? So this can go down to the local or county or city tax level. Like if I pick, Akron, that's a city in Ohio, so it's going to tax any employee working on this job for the city of Akron, as well as the state of Ohio, and possibly also where they live for any residence tax. So it does look at the employee record too and say, okay, we're going to tax the employee based on the local and state or just state that they're working in, but also go look at the employee record as payroll calculates for any additional taxes or add-ons or overrides. Anything like that we do really well. Multi-local, multi-city, state, and that's all generally driven by the project, and that's where it picks it up as the time cards are entered. Certified payroll, when we need it, we check that box. We can also identify what the pay rates are for that project for any of those prevailing wage situations. So we have this union tab. A lot of our clients are non-union, a lot of our clients are union. Just, that's simply said. But either way, on this tab, we can attach a rate table. So thinking of like a Davis-Bacon job or certified payroll, I could call this whatever we want, county A, job A, but the idea is this table that I attached, it's going to have like labor, $50 an hour, foreman, $60 an hour, operator, $65 an hour. So it's going to know based on the job that's selected on a time card, what pay rate to automatically pay the employee based on the job they're on and the classification that they're working in. Unless it's just a private job, it'll of course just pay them the rate on their employee record. Now, if their base employer rate is higher than a prevailing wage rate, it will pay them the higher rate. But the initial point here is a job has a tax table attached to it, and that's what's going to dictate primarily what state and or local is being calculated from a payroll standpoint. So the job is one of the first variables that's helping us with this. So if we put a time card in, and on the left here, we have enter time cards. Like I pulled over some of these menu items just to make my life easier. So like if I wanted quick access to workers' comp report, I might drag and drop that over, just as an example. So we're going to start with time card entry. I will show our mobile app so we can have field employees put their time in from anywhere, right, on a tablet or phone. So there's different time card entry screens. Now this is me manually keying a time card in directly into the system. Nothing wrong with that. It's a web-based system. Right, so whether I'm at my house doing the payroll or I'm at the office, doesn't matter. I'm picking a job, cost code. A lot of companies still get paper timesheets back. That's fine. Now I should make note, a lot of our clients do use cost codes. So like in this example, I picked a couple different jobs that this person Rick's working on, and I said, hey, one day he's doing site prep, maybe another day he's doing demolition, maybe another day they're doing water lines. These are obviously up to each company what they are. A lot of our clients do use cost codes because they want to see labor and burden and hours, not only by job, but by task or phase or cost code. And we have the reporting to show that. A lot of companies, though, on the other hand, just track, for example, from payroll, labor and burden. They're not at the point or need to enter in the tasks that are being performed. They just want to pick the job and put the hours. That's okay too. You can have just labor listed. Now, like notice here, these tax tables are coming in different. This job is in a different tax jurisdiction than this one, right? Let's say this East taxes in Michigan. Well, it's gonna tax this employee Rick for the local of East, whatever that is, and the state of Michigan. It's gonna tax Rick on this job, Akron local, and the state of Ohio, because that's what's driven by the job. So again, it's that simple, really. The job is gonna dictate the multi-state variable there. It also, in this case, made a different pay rate pop in. These are silly rates, but when Rick's on this job, it's $19.50. On this job, maybe a different prevailing wage job or whatnot, another rate of $17.50. If the classification changed for my play company here, Rick is an electrician. These are samples, but if I said he was a foreman, notice how the rate went to 0, and now it's popping in a different rate because he went from laborer to a foreman. Again, that doesn't apply to everybody. That's for companies that do get into Davis-Bacon or any public work, certified payroll. Overtime can auto-calculate. You can always pick anything you need to there, like straight time or regular wages is my default. But you could pick overtime, reimbursements, mileage, vacation, but you can't, say again, over 8 a day or 40 a week is just going to trigger overtime automatically. I did 8 hours a day. Clearly, it can be as any detail that you need. If somebody worked on 5 jobs or cost codes in a day on 9/11, I can have as many entries as I want that day. Workers' comp, by state, the job is going to trigger. We talked to the tax table, right, for the state and potential local that they're in. The job can also identify the workers' compensation state that they're in. And then the class that they're going to be calculated for is maybe based on the type of work that they're doing, or maybe based on the classification that they're in. So I could say, well, it depends. When I'm doing site prep, maybe that's a separate workers' comp classification and rate than when I'm doing drafting or whatever that is. So workers' comp can be triggered, the classification by the actual cost code if that's best, but it's going to find the state to calculate by the job itself, right? We know the state that it's in. And again, if there's any questions, right, by all means, and there's been a couple that I'll just address at the end, but throw them in the little questionnaire section of the go to webinar control panel, please. Cool. So that's just a manual time entry, but there's a lot behind the scenes that's automating there, right? Maybe an employee, if it's union, their deductions and fringes, right? The certified payroll fringes are going to automate based on the entry. Mobile entry. This is our mobile app. We do integrate with third-party mobile apps too. Okay, so if somebody says, hey, I'm interested in foundation or payroll for construction, the payroll service side, or both, I'm using, third-party mobile program, great. We can import from those solutions. This is ours. One thing that's easier with ours is it's ours, so it's the same data. I don't have to upkeep 2 separate solutions. For example, if I'm an employee in the field, and this is up to you what shows to that employee in the field, whether it's a standard laborer or like a foreman. It could be really stripped down in a good way where they just have one button to clock in, make it really easy. Our mobile app is unlimited users. It can be run on iPads, iPhones, Android devices, anything like that, that they can clock in. Now, when I clock in, it's going to know who I am, right? It knows it's me, Nick. I'm not Nick, but we'll pretend I am. And I'm selecting what job I'm on. They can type ahead. I'm cheating. I see it, Erie Hospital down there. If I type it, it's like, oh, there it is. Right. And like it pulled in this because it says America and Erie here, right? So it's like it's finding it based on what I typed ahead. Then I can restrict jobs by person. Now, again, if we're not using phases or cost codes, that can just default in as labor. I am. So I'm saying I'm working at this job and here's what I'm doing. Straight time or regular wages can just be the default. So at a minimum, they need to pick the job. And then for a lot of companies, they're also picking the cost code. And again, by selecting that job, that's going to dictate maybe this, workers' comp for the state. And then maybe this is the classification related category. Based on that job, again, from just a state tax standpoint, it knows what to calculate, and potential local or city taxes for areas that have that. Maybe pay rates, right, are going to also be automated if this is like a certified payroll job. So I'm clocking in, and then at some point I'm simply clocking out or switching to another activity or job. Now, if it's not clocking in and out, that's fine. It can just be a standard time card entry, single time. And this is more of a approach of not clocking in. Now I'm like a foreman, so I can see other people right now. But if I'm, Craig, when I open the app, it's just going to show me, here's the job I'm on, what was I doing, and for how many hours. So again, they can clock in and out or manually enter hours. But again, just as I'm doing that entry, and there's different proofing options, there's approval options between, the time that they enter the labor, maybe a project manager or foreman to review it before the payroll admin reviews it. So there's multiple levels of approval. There's also an entry screen for time that's more for a foreman, where a foreman can click on a project, which is this job I just clicked on up here, and it's showing the employees assigned to that job and all the budgeted cost codes. So I can say, Michael did 3 hours of this and 5 hours of this, for example, right? So I can do a whole crew or group in one shot if it's meant to be more of a mass entry by foreman. There's other options in mobile besides just a labor entry. Some of our clients track equipment usage, material, quantities, pictures. There is geotagging, so we can see where employees were when they clocked in and out of a project. I'm just making up dates here and stuff, but just to find something. So you can have it where, you can see, who clocked in or out that were not in a job radius at all, right? So I'm going to kind of zoom in. It's like, here's a project, which is just our building here where I'm working, and that's just me clocking in and out. But we can see on a window, right, where people clocked in and out, and make sure that that things are on the up and up. So this data gets submitted, and we proof it, right? So whether we manually keyed our time in or it was from the mobile app, it's all here, right? We see a mass list, whether it's 150 employees or one employee. We're going to see the labor. We can still make revisions to it. So even if this came from mobile, right, I can still click on it and make changes. But it's all still the same end result of, right, the tax table. We know based on the job location what to calculate for state and or local tax or both. The pay rates, the fringes, any union deductions, fringes, workers' comp being calculated. So the job's the big variable, right? Get the right project. That's going to help automate things. Now, it's just saying, hey, if you changed your time card, recompute the payroll. Once we've done this, though, and we proved it, we've got a pretty big list of what we call pre-check registers. So this is essentially the last stop before, that would determine, do I do everything in-house using full foundation? Like, do we want to run our payroll in-house, right? Write our own checks, upload our own direct deposits, pay our own taxes, because our full system is designed to do that. However, you can also use foundation and say, all right, even though I'm using foundation fully, I want them, meaning payroll for construction, our payroll service, to pay our taxes, pay our employees. The beauty of that is it's truly all in one. It is a full seamless solution where it's the same end result as if you did your payroll in-house, except you pressed a button to have us take over at this point to pay your employees and do your taxes, right? Operating as a traditional payroll service, but then I don't have to worry about getting general ledger updated, job costing updated. It's all one and the same. Okay. So there's about 15, 20 pre-check registers. So I can see like what's calculating that's going to hit the general ledger, what's calculating for garnishments and deductions, union. So I have full visibility before I either internally do my own direct deposits and checks or press a button to have payroll for construction or payroll service take over and finish everything else. So that's the key thing. Just I always try to emphasize, because sitting on my side of things, it's very clear doing this 20 years. You can use foundation fully, do all of this in-house along with all your other accounting and job costing and project management, or use foundation for all your accounting and project management, and then just push the payroll by pressing a button to our payroll service for us to take over that portion of it and operate as your payroll service, but it's still all in one. Or if somebody says, you know what, I'm not ready to make a change from like QuickBooks or another system, and I'm not there yet, but we do want to outsource payroll, and we do need multi-state payroll, we do need certified payroll, we do need union reporting. There's not a better payroll service to accommodate that payroll for construction, right? So you can use that on its own and not use our full ERP along with it. So with that being said, you're either finishing up in-house or pressing a button and having us take over, right? It's really that straightforward. the beauty of it though is like as that's processed, and even for people just using our payroll service, you still have access to the job cost reporting. I mean, it would only be your payroll data, but as we look at, say, a quick view of our projects, right? If I drill down really quick into a job, it's a quick report showing our estimated profit, actual profit. But as I look at the job costing, this sample project here is sitting around 200 grand in actual cost. If I click it, I can see, my labor and burden by job and or cost code. It's like, oh, we did, this task, this subsurface work, and it's, $4,000 of that task was labor. There's our associated burden, right? That's your company share of FICA, FUTA, SUTA, workers' comp, fringes, general liability. So you get a full, true allocated cost to your projects from the payroll. That's if you're doing your payroll in-house or getting your time cards in the system and having payroll for construction or payroll service finish it up. Same end result. And that's the best part of it is, because if somebody's using, say QuickBooks and ADP, it's like, how do I get all that exactly back in there perfect? Or, it's just a little harder to do because it's two separate solutions where work collectively can be all in one. Right now you have workers' comp reporting, right? That's by state and class. Audit reporting, I mean, I can go back as far as I need to. Each state would be listed with its classifications. Those were automatically tracked based on the job itself that was used on a time card. And again, maybe the type of work that they did to dictate the workers' comp class. If you're doing payroll in-house, great. I mean, right, we have all the different state tax reporting in here, unemployment reports. They're all listed, right? Creates the file to upload. Again, unless somebody's using our payroll service where we're taking that piece over for you. Right? Direct deposits, if somebody's doing their payroll in-house, multi-state or otherwise, sure, we create the direct deposit uploads. Again, somebody's using our full payroll service, we're doing all that for them. So really, again, it's that point when you proof all the payroll data that companies go one way or the other, finish everything up in-house with our full system, or let's sit back and let us/payroll for construction take over and handle the rest. When we need certified payroll, different states and areas have different formats, depending if it's a state job, federal job, municipal, they're all there, I think. These get updated all the time. We do about 4 to 5 updates a year across our products. I'm just gonna run the federal one as a classic example. We also do the web-based uploads for certified payroll as well. So under the certified payroll, I was at print, right? There is electronic. That's, there's California, DIR, there's AASHTO, EMARS, LCP tracker is probably the most common or original one for the web-based stuff. So again, we create those files. You'd have to upload those, but they're of course ready to roll. If I scroll down again, for people using our payroll service, whether it's just our payroll service or our full software and opting to include our payroll service, they probably don't care to go run a 941 or a state tax report. You can, it's all there, but we would potentially be the ones taking care of that for you. If you got union reporting, right? If it is a union company using us, you can get your union reporting, see the total deductions, fringes by employee and class per union. You get a summary page per local or union showing the total amount due for the deductions and fringes. That's all being automated through the program as well. So now if somebody's doing if somebody's using full foundation and doing their payroll in-house, multi-state or otherwise, right? Obviously you can print checks, do direct deposits. And as I mentioned before, it's all together. If I worked in 4 different states in one payroll week, I don't need 4 checks. I don't know why that's needed in other solutions. Not making fun of them. I'm not familiar with any of them to that level. It's just we do it, right? It's like if this was between 7 different states or locals, it's still one check, and that's just the norm of how things operate here. I could also mention too, regardless if somebody's using foundation and doing payroll in-house and or using our full payroll service, you can have different pay periods. So I could have like a monthly pay cycle going on while I'm entering a current weekly one, and I can jump between the different pay cycles. That can happen there. So again, the big picture of everything is I kind of circle back to to the PowerPoint here, right? It's handling these reporting needs internally, and that's saying, all right, I did the payroll myself or sub that out to payroll for construction. Whether you're using, again, just foundation, just payroll for construction, or both together as a full solution, great, right? Whatever seems to make the most sense. We've got thousands of companies that use both together. We've literally got thousands of companies that use foundation on its own. Got thousands of companies that just use payroll for construction. I just did a demonstration for a company using our payroll for construction solution yesterday, and now interested in adding the full suite. It's a much smaller transition at that point. It's already live on the payroll module. Yeah, let me pop through a couple questions here that have popped up. Just kind of see, I think I've answered some of them just indirectly as we've been going through. Yeah, somebody's asking if payroll taxes can be assigned by employee rather than the project. You know, like if somebody's working, you know, it says 75% plus the time in a single state. Yeah, you absolutely can. You know, there's those situations where it's like the whole boots on ground thing where like, well, they're only in Michigan for 4 hours of the whole year. We don't have to absolutely you can. So I can still have a person working outside of their home state and still have it calculate their home state just because that's the override. So on an employee record, you can have it dictate that and by, you know, trump the job level. That is completely fine. So those unique kind of variables like that that's a great question. It does not have to be where the job is. That's just the norm, right? Now, I think the fuzziest thing that, and again, it's hard to picture putting myself out of my shoes, like how clear, hopefully it is, right? The different solution offerings we have, right? And so, you know, just to probably beat a dead horse, but you got full true, you know, foundation software, right? Think of, hey, it's a QuickBooks solution type, but we've outgrown it. We need foundation for much better job costing, AIA billings, change order management, project management, you know, purchase orders, subcontracts, retainage, our construction payroll needs. Great, we're a full ERP for all that. A lot of our clients do use us and just do their own payroll in-house. Others go, nope, let's also tack on payroll for construction in the whole suite. So we use foundation fully, but just have us take care of the taxes and paying the employees. Awesome. Where again, if somebody's just not ready to use our full solution, they can use payroll for construction on its own, getting all the benefits of our you know, union payroll, certified payroll, multi-state payroll, all of that, and you know, having the benefit of a third-party payroll service managing all of that for them. For anybody that wants to jump on and do like a one-on-one, I promise we're not pushy about it, whether it's me or somebody else. I mean, there's our website, right? foundationsoft.com/live demo. Feel free to just email me, right? I'm pretty easy. So if it's just basic questions, you know, anything off the beaten path or otherwise, I mean, just shoot me an email. That's down here. It's gef@foundationsoft.com. If you forget my name, but remember my email, that's fine. But yeah, we'd be happy to help. Obviously, you can just Google foundation software. You can Google payroll for the number 4 construction. There's links to both companies between each website as well. Again, a recording of this will be sent out, you know, to anybody who is registered. Like to try to keep these pretty efficient here as we get to the half-hour mark. So I'm going to wrap up. Anybody has other questions, by all means, reach out anytime. Thanks again for attending, and you guys enjoy the rest of the day.